What do you do when your fiance visa goes sideways, when things go wrong? That is the topic that I jumped on here to dive into right now. If you don't know me, this is Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer, and I help people reach their immigration goals and sort out these sorts of challenges. So I got a really great comment on my YouTube channel, and it's a question I get a lot of time from a lot of people, and I thought that I would really dive into it, and I actually invited the person who made the comment to join me on the show. Hey, Rocky, how you doing? But let's dive into this. Here's what she says, and her name is Sarah El Bosari. She says, my fiance just had his interview on September 8th, 2023 at the embassy in Morocco. And here I'd like to stop for a minute and just express my solidarity with the people of the Kingdom of Morocco. We have so many friends and clients and people that we care about in Morocco. And I've traveled there myself, and we follow the events of the earthquake with so much concern. And it seems like so many of the victims of the earthquake or the areas affected are those who are far removed from major cities and things like that, people in the mountains. It sounds like a horrible situation, and wishing everyone the best. But let me get back to it. So he had his interview in Morocco, and he says here, he was given 221G. That is a refusal notice, and told that our case is being sent back to USCIS. I had a consultation with your office, and I was told I should wait at least 2 months before filing mandamus. Should I instead prepare to go to Morocco and marry him? And that is the background for this question, and I want to dive in and give you my answer, which I hope will be helpful. First of all, a fiance visa, when they tell you that the case was sent back to USCIS for possible revocation, that is not a good sign, because what it means is that the case is over. It's done. It's not going to get approved. That is a denial. So if you have a fiance visa and they tell you we're sending this back to USCIS for possible revocation, what's going to happen is that several months later, you're going to get a letter from USCIS, and that letter is going to say your case is denied because the visa petition is expired. And you think, expired? That's ridiculous. How could this be expired? It's not my fault it's expired. It's their fault because they didn't make a decision on it in time, and then they sent it back and all that. And it feels so unfair and cruel. But you need to know what's around the corner. You need to know what's up ahead. And if you're expecting something to happen, you're going to be even more disappointed. So as soon as they tell you it's sent back to USCIS, unfortunately, you need to know that you got really bad news and you're not going to get the visa petition approved at all. No way, no how. It's game over. So what should you do? Well, I think one of the other insights that you have to ask yourself, why do you suppose that the fiance visa was sent back to USCIS for possible revocation? Why was it not approved? And unfortunately, they never give you any information about why it wasn't approved. So you just have to speculate. Most of the time, it's because they are not convinced that the marriage or the fiance visa relationship is genuine. So you need to explore that. Maybe you didn't spend enough time with your partner. Maybe you didn't have enough photos. Maybe there were not enough documents showing that the relationship was genuine in terms of maybe, I really don't know. Each case is different. And maybe it's not the relationship. Maybe it's something else. Maybe the petitioner has a criminal record that makes the person ineligible. I'm just making this up. I really don't know. But you have to kind of try to troubleshoot and think about what led the fiance visa to get denied? And that's something that you can do with our help, with my team. We can help you discuss with you your fiance visa to see if there's a way we can help you turn it around. The person goes on to say, should I instead prepare to go to Morocco and marry him? Well, if you're determined to get the case approved, you know that the fiance visa is not going to be successful. It will not. It's going to be denied. So the question is, what do you do? If that's the case, I think you have two options. One is to file another fiance visa, which would be dumb, right? The other one didn't work, so why file that? And second is what you suggested. Go to Morocco and marry him. Now, one of the mistakes that people make when they say, well, I'm just going to go and marry him, is they sometimes find a way to do what's called a proxy marriage. That is getting married when you're not there in person, and you're instead getting married using a legal representative or something like that. Such marriages are legal in certain countries and even in certain US states, I think Utah, but they actually open up a bigger can of worms when it comes to immigration. So if you're thinking it's more convenient to get married remotely through a proxy, you may be in for a shock. So I think that the expression "shortcuts make long delays" is appropriate, and you should think about actually going in person to marry him if that's what you're going to do. Now, if you do go to get married, and that's the step that you take, one thing that you should know, a couple things you should know. First of all, you're essentially starting from square one. You have to go all the way back to the beginning, and you have to start with an initial application from the very, very start. And that's going to take a long time. How long it's going to take is unclear. It's going to take a while. It could take a year. It could take a year and a half. It's very hard to say. But nevertheless, these are the steps that you have to take. And secondly, without knowing anything about the case, I suspect the problem may be a failure to provide enough proof that the marriage relationship is genuine. And if that's true, then I think you should, when you file your marriage-based case, you should definitely be thinking about how to better document that your marriage relationship is genuine. So what I would say is, can you and your partner go on a vacation together? Could you travel from the US to Morocco and stay with your partner for an extended period of time so that you're able to spend time together? I'd love to see a photo of the parents with the couple. That's a great photo, because when the parents are with the couple, that looks great. There's a lot of other things like that I think you can do, but it's not an easy road. There's a lot of things that are up in your path, but you can make it. And also, if you applied the first time around without an attorney, you should consider working with us, because we can help you. We know a lot. We have tremendous experience when it comes to immigration. We can help you not only when your case is denied, but we can help you try to avoid the denial in the first place. These are my thoughts on fiance visa challenges in this situation. What questions do you have about it? Leave them in the comments and I will answer them for you. And Manny, thank you so much, from Dallas. I actually grew up in that area in Richardson, so it's great to hear that we have someone joining us from YouTube in Dallas. Let me know what's on your mind. Maybe it's fiance visas, maybe it's marriage-based visas, applications for parents, naturalization, you name it. Let me know. Sarah, I'm gonna send you, Sarah, I'm gonna send you this comment here. Sarah, can you, I checked on YouTube, if you're listening, I put a link. If you could click on that, you could join and I could answer your questions directly. I don't know if that's possible. I'm going to put the link, or maybe you could put your email here as a comment, and I could email you. But I'd love to talk to you, sir. I want to try to answer your questions, and I jumped on here live to try to share some of my thoughts. Essentially, as I said, when your case is being sent back to USCIS for possible revocation, you have to understand that this is a denial, a flat out denial, and you're not going to get your visa. It's done. It's over. It's terrible news, but it's better to hear it from me now than to wait 6 months hoping that you're going to have an opportunity to try to get it approved. It's not going anywhere. The case is over. You shouldn't hire us to do mandamus because it's not going to work. The case is dead, game over, forget it. Should you go get married? I think you should consider that. If I had you on YouTube, if I had you here live, I would like to find out more about the facts of your case. What concerns me, what I would be interested in hearing more about is whether you and your partner have a lot of proof that your relationship is genuine. Have you spent a lot of time together? Do you have children? Do you have a huge age gap? You know, if you're 67 years old and he's 22, that can be very hard. Sometimes the consulate just thinks that someone's getting taken for a ride, and I've had clients crying, heartbroken, but just the age gap was impossible to overcome. I see a beautiful picture of you, Sarah, with your partner here, and I'd love to. Oh, okay. You have so much proof. He's 42 and he's 31. I think you should get married. I think you should strongly consider it. I'm not here to sell my legal services, but if you connect with our team, we can help guide you and make sure that your new case is more successful and better documented. You should also understand, you've been to Morocco 3 times and had an engagement party. I love that. Sarah, did your parents come from the US to Morocco, or maybe your family is Moroccan? I don't know. If you could get your parents to go to Morocco, that would be money. That would be a very powerful proof. I think if you're going to get married, one thing that you should know is that it's a long road. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think any immigration lawyer in the world can confidently tell you how long this will take, because we don't know. But it's going to take more than a year, probably closer to a year and a half. I have a bias against the fiance visa for reasons like this, because let me tell you something, Sarah, and anyone else listening. If you are married and you petition for your spouse, your husband or wife, and you go to the interview and the consulate gives you this crappy decision like Sarah and her fiance got, then you have more powerful rights. They can't just deny you willy-nilly. Sarah got denied possibly unfairly just because they denied it. We don't even know. But if she had been married and they didn't want to give her the visa, they would send it back to USCIS for possible revocation. But guess what? It's not game over if you're married, because then they send you a letter called a notice of intent to revoke, and you have the right to fight it. And you know, our office handles these all the time, and we've had great success overcoming a notice of intent to revoke. We fought back against them and we've won. It's not easy or fun, and you want to avoid it, but it's possible. So that's another advantage of the marriage-based case over the fiance visa. What other questions do you have, Sarah? Let me know. Does this make sense? I'm going to put my email again here, and I want you, I'll put it up on the screen there. And if you email me, and we can reach out to you and see if we can give you firsthand direct advice on what to do. The other thing I would tell you Sarah and everyone else, is don't get discouraged because your case went sideways. I can see in this photo of you on YouTube, you look so happy with your partner and so in love and glowing. And I don't want this setback to mess with your head, to impact your mindset. You have to be determined to get this approved. Whether it takes another 6 months or a year and a half, you got this. You can do it. You can win this case. Don't let that consulate get the better of you and mess up your life. And, it's not over until you win. And I think that's really, really important. And, sometimes getting your case approved is not that easy. Sometimes you get crappy, bad decisions. Sometimes you get the mean officer who had a bad day and decided to deny you. But you can't let that define your life. You have to refile this case and fight. And it's worth it because you're gonna break through this barrier and put it past you. So now is not the time to shed tears. It's the time to book a flight to Morocco, go to Marrakesh, Agadir, wherever you go, and have an amazing wedding. It's an incredible country. I'm so sad about the earthquake. And Sarah, if you need help, we're here for you. Even if you don't hire us, we have lots of advice that can help guide you. All right, I'm going to take some other questions. Pipe in if anybody has anything I can do to help. All right, we have a Facebook user. This is me, Nazish. I'm a PhD scholar who applied for a J1 visa. My visa is under administrative procedures for the last 6 months. What would be the appropriate reason behind the delay, and what should I do? How much time does embassies usually take? Okay, there's a couple questions. First of all, our friend here is a PhD scholar. He's no fool. He's an educated man, and I appreciate you tuning in. Let me take a couple questions here. One is, what would be the appropriate reason behind the delay? And the answer is nobody knows. That's the answer. Administrative processing delays are a source of mystery. We don't know why a case would be in administrative processing because they never tell you. And I've been involved with thousands of lawsuits against consulates around the world to challenge these unfair delays. And I can tell you, you're never told precisely why your case is delayed. Sometimes you're delayed because you go to the interview and you don't have all the right documents, and they tell you to submit a document after the interview. And after you do that, you never hear from them again. It's in administrative processing. Sometimes after the interview, they tell you to fill out form DS 5535, and then you do that, and then you never hear from them again. So it's never clear why there was a delay. Now, the second part of your question was, how much time do the embassies usually take to process administrative processing? So I would say that it should take no more than 60 days. If 2 months have passed and administrative processing is not complete, something has gone wrong. We've had people who've been waiting for 6 months, for a year, for several years, and their cases are still stuck in administrative processing. And you don't want to be one of them. So the question is, what should you do about administrative processing delays? Well, you should give it a few months, unfortunately. And then if your case is still stuck, you should know that we can help you because it's not fair or legal for them to continue to delay your case. And when they do that, you have the right to fight back, and we can help you do that. And we can force them to process your case and get you the result that hopefully you want. Sarah was in Agadir. That's great. That's great. Love Morocco. So much love for Morocco. So sad about what's happening. I wish I could do something to help everyone. They told me to send documents I needed, and I sent them on the same day. It's not you. It's the agencies not doing their job. That's it. That's it. I'm going to go back and take another question here. Mohammed Ayub Khan. My father-in-law, who is a green card holder staying in the U.S., is sick. Can she get a visitor visa when she has a petition pending under I-130 F4? Yes and no. Let me explain. Anyone who wants to visit the United States can apply for a visitor visa. But to get a visitor visa, you have to overcome what's called the presumption of immigrant intent. Let me explain. The presumption of immigrant intent is just that. You are presumed to have the intention not of visiting, but of actually staying in the United States. So if you apply for a visitor visa, they are thinking, wait a minute, this person is not really trying to visit. This person is actually really going to stay in the US. You have to overcome that. And how do you do it? You do it by submitting proof that you have strong ties to your home country and that your trip is just a short visit. Now, if you have an I-130 pending under F4, you're already the beneficiary of an immigrant visa, a visa to immigrate to the US. So in that situation, how would you overcome the presumption of immigrant intent? Well, it might not be easy to do, but I think you could say, listen, yes, I plan to immigrate to the United States ultimately, but on this particular trip, it's only to visit, just a short visit, because F4 takes a long time. I know that, and that's what I'm going to do. So if you can do that, then I think you can still get the visitor visa. It's not impossible. I hope that helps.